Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to give a thumbs up, drop a comment. Make sure that you click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live, like on a Friday randomly at 11:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate everybody joining me. I know I was off on Wednesday and Thursday. I do anticipate being off a few days next week as well. Ideally, for a monthly close that is set to close as bullish as it is for June. Ideally, I would be live streaming with you at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, but that won't be possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at several charts. The crypto OG coins, as I like to call them, are pumping as expected. You have Litecoin pumping, no surprise. XLM's been pumping, ETC's been pumping. Bitcoin Cash continues to pump, and we're going to take a look at that because it really has done exactly what I had indicated a couple live streams ago. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin Cash. It's really near a topping out zone, in my opinion, before further consolidation. We'll take a look at why I kind of revisit that idea in terms of why I think Bitcoin Cash is right at that consolidation zone. I'm also going to be multitasking between my laptop and cell phone. As you can see, I'm not in my normal setup. So I will be using my cell phone to indicate all the comments that are coming in. So I appreciate everybody continuing to drop comments in here. We are going to focus, since I'm not going to be able to live stream for the monthly close, we are going to take a look at a couple monthly charts, and I'm going to tell you ideally, as long as prices don't completely fall apart, which I don't anticipate, over the course of the next 8 hours, what I'm anticipating on seeing for monthly closes. Those monthly closes, once they actually do become final and we have an opportunity to take a look at those together and what they look like next week, which I would anticipate being Thursday. I do anticipate being off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for some travels. But when I come back on Thursday, I think there's going to be a lot of really good, nice setups on the higher time frames from a monthly perspective, and we'll kind of hit on that today, and we'll be able to look at it further on next Thursday. So again, make sure, and I should be back on Thursday. I should be here at the typical time, regular time around 5 to 6 Eastern Standard Time. But today, definitely coming at you a little early. Let's see who we have in the live chat today. 786 WP. Let's fucking go. Glad to see you in here. Gee, appreciate that. Yeah. Apologies for the audio. Is the audio? Drop me a comment and let me know on a scale of 1 to 10. Just indicate a number. 1 is god awful. 10 is clear and crisp. How is the audio coming in? Because I can change it up and use the laptop microphone. If my Bluetooth headphone is not coming through on the microphone, I can switch it up. Let me know. Scale of 1, completely god awful. 10, perfect. Where is the audio coming in for you? Let me know. What's up, Frankie, though? Good to see you. What's up, Track? What's up, Jorge? Yeah, sorry about the audio. Let me know. There's a little bit of lag. Thank you for everyone new tuning in. Make sure to hit the thumbs up. If you hide the comments, you'll see that. Let me know again, 1 to 10. How is the audio coming in? Just drop me a number. I'm seeing 5. I'm seeing 7. So anywhere between mediocre to average. Continue to drop those numbers in the live chat, and I'll consider changing up the microphone. By the way, real quick, before we get into the charts, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on TradingView, YouTube, and even Instagram. One word, it is Crypto Bull God. Actually, one quick thing before we get into the charts. Yeah, it looks like it's ranging between 5 to 7. So, 5, really. You know what? Let's try switching up the audio. Let's see if things improve here. What we're gonna do, you can see me speak from my headset. Actually, it'll help for you to let me know if the audio has improved using the microphone on the laptop. Because one thing I could, so for times like this when I am traveling,
the audio does come in better. But let me know how the laptop microphone is working. Is this better 1 to 10? Just 1 to 10? Is it better? Let me know. And real quick, take a moment to vent about something. Gone worse. All right, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back.
Oh, okay. Okay, back to the Bluetooth headphones real quick before we went to a 3. All right, so back to the Bluetooth headphones. We'll definitely look to get a new set of Bluetooth headphones for moments like this. So I was traveling yesterday, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the person and the people who decide that they want to drive 65 miles per hour in the passing lane, holding up 20 cars. Just really appreciate that. Great work on your part. Glad that you understand the passing lane. Passing lane is to pass. So that was a little frustrating traveling yesterday, but besides that, had an easy, smooth drive. So hopefully if the audio is still worse, let me know, but it should have improved because you saw me switch to my Bluetooth. Um, yeah, saw the news on the BlackRock ETF getting denied. It's kind of comical because the um, that ETF, everybody was talking about, BlackRock had, one failed ETF approval in its history, and it had it was basically like 50 to 1 odds that it was going to get approved. So it's kind of comical that the ETF ended up getting denied. Let me know. I saw a lot of people just drop off, so let me know if the audio has gotten worse. Um, yeah, should be on the Bluetooth. I'm on the Bluetooth, so should be good. Okay. All right, we're gonna start getting into the charts. Just lost everybody on the live stream, so hopefully everything's okay. So, guys, whatever the news is, one of the basic premises on this channel, as you know, um, part of a herd mentality, you have to understand, part of a herd mentality is to follow a news narrative. Okay, if there's something being, think about this for a moment. Let's fucking go, Josh. Good to see you, and wish I had my ding 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 button. Don't have that with me. Um, One of the things you have to understand is that the majority of people they base their decisions in terms of what they're doing um, based on the popular news narratives coming in the legacy news outlets, right? So if you're making what you deem to be an informed decision based on a news narrative, a public popular news narrative, you have to ask yourself, how is your decision in terms of how you're approaching that different from the rest of the population, right? And this is why, again, the premise behind the live streams, all in the charts, it's intentionally titled that way because increasingly over time, it became apparent to me that personally, how I was approaching my investment decisions, a lot of how I based my investment. Anyway, I used to base my decisions on those things, and you know, I when I took professional chart reading classes, I don't even like to call them trading classes because I wouldn't consider myself a trader. When you say you're a trader, I think of somebody who day trades. Okay, but when I took professional trading classes, chart reading classes, it really changed my philosophical approach in terms of how to invest. And the idea, in general, is that the chart's going to tell you everything that you need to know and what you can do with that chart data based on all this historical information. You can make all these inferences regarding what you see today and moving forward with certain probabilities, right? And again, I want to reiterate that the news does not the news follows the chart. The chart does not follow the news. Okay, that is my view. All the human emotion, all the psychology stuff is already baked into the charts. Okay, so yes, we did see a move down today. People will love to make sense of that and say, well, BlackRock ETF got rejected, or the SEC is coming out and saying some Garbaggio, and so now the charts are falling apart. And let me just say, the charts are not falling apart. Bitcoin's sitting at around $30,000, we're 29,950. So, and again, perspective. I saw something that Credible Crypto had tweeted out recently, and I completely agree with him. Just for perspective, when we had this consolidation, around 1/8 of the time. Okay, so 1/8. Okay, you're looking at about 12% of the time. What I'm saying is this duration of time here that elapsed, which was 62 days, or 62 days. It took 12% of that time frame, okay, 8 days, to completely erase that consolidation and correction, okay, and move up. And that's how quickly this market moves. That's why I'm trying my best to be honest with you and be open with you about what I see in the charts to help you to make a better informed decision and stay in the game. Because again, what you're going to find, granted I'm correct, if I'm correct in my assertion, that Bitcoin really is going to create a new all-time high this year, okay? If that plays out, what you're going to see is a relatively short period of time under which we're going to really see some significant gains. And the reason that I feel confident in making that assertion is because this is what has happened in the past. When you go back to the charts on Bitcoin, when you go back to, especially on altcoins, with how fast and how quick those things rip up, what you find is that there are these long periods of consolidation, and eventually, and especially in some of the bigger projects, some of the top 10, top 20 projects, once you start seeing some stair steps up, some of those higher highs and higher lows, those are continued opportunities to continue to scale into your investments, okay? But eventually what happens is we enter a parabola. Some of those altcoins, though, especially those out of the top 30, 40, 50, when you start going to the top 100 and 200, they in a sense give you more opportunity and less opportunity, depending on your perspective. But they have a tendency to rip harder, faster. Okay, should make sense. They have less liquidity, so it's easier to move the prices. And so what you find on some of those lower caps, if you look at a token last 2021 when we ran hard, if you look at like a Harmony One, okay, Harmony One had one of the most epic runs, right? And it was a very low market cap project. It ran from a third of a cent all the way up to nearly 30 cents in a matter of like 2 months. I mean, it was crazy, 2 to 3 months. And it erased all that period of sideways consolidation that was going on in the chart. So, what realistically is going on right now in the chart for Bitcoin, and do I have any concerns? Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on here. This is a 12-hour chart. These are sort of these bars that I set here. If I kind of extend them out, what I was attempting to communicate here on an earlier live stream was that these horizontal bars here, okay, they're essentially, typically I paint these as red because they're areas of resistance. This is going to be your zone of resistance right here. Okay, so you really have a zone of resistance between 31,000 and 31,500. The other thing that I want to point out in the chart that should be rather obvious, I was kind of projecting out that we would see a golden cross on the 12-hour by the second 12-hour candle on Thursday. I was kind of projecting it out. It looks like we're not going to get it until what will be tomorrow once this candle closes out. Okay, we're going to get a golden cross on the 12-hour. Historically, what that has signified, based on prior bull runs in Bitcoin when we've been on our way to all-time highs, is significant movements to the upside. Okay, there's nothing going on the 12-hour chart. I would say besides the MACD cross that I want to see kind of level out here, there's nothing that has me overly concerned. Okay. Now, what I would like to see, I think what would be ideal, if we can get this 12-hour candle to push up above the psychological $30,000 level, get a little bit of a longer wick on here, kind of level out the MACD. I think that would help things. Also, from a psychological standpoint, if we go to the monthly chart, okay, really quick. If we go to the Bitcoin monthly chart, one of the things that will also help us Is there still an echo? By the way, is there an echo on the mic? Do not see. Boy, is this accurate? Yeah, everyone on the line. Shit. Sorry if the audio is not good. Well, what's up, Rashid? The audio isn't that bad. Sorry if there's a little bit of an echo. It's not terrible. I'm really not sure how to rectify that, so hopefully you can stick with me. I'm sorry for the audio issues. But really, from a psychological standpoint, if we can close out both the monthly and the weekly at $30,000, that psychologically does a lot of benefits to the market to know that we've closed those candlesticks out above $30,000. The other thing that you can see here is that on the monthly, what I like to see is that we're going to end up closing above this area of what was once resistance. It's at 29,000. We're going to close above that. Okay. And again, unless prices fall up completely apart in the next 7.5 hours. What's up, Crypto Ryan? Glad to see you in here. What's up, brother? Yeah, unless the prices completely fall apart, we're also going to be closing above this $29,000 area on the monthly. But again, I just want to reiterate the other encouraging things going on within this chart. We have the MACD that's about to cross. This thing is going to cross up. I don't know that it's going to get above zero. I think July, I would anticipate now that that it's confirmed, again, in a few hours here. Remember my stance here. I wanted to see a bullish candlestick come in for June. Else, I was going to have to reassess, in my opinion, how likely it was that we were really going to see a blow off top this year or new all-time highs. Now that this candlestick has come in bullish, I'm feeling even more confident that what we're going to see in July is we're going to see some significant movements up in Bitcoin. We're going to get this positive cross here on the MACD. It may not get above zero with the monthly close, but what should happen so long as July is bullish, this thing will be back above zero with the positive cross. Stochastic RSI looks great, and I want to start getting above. You see this gray line? I have this drawn for a reason. I want to start getting above this gray line here, which is essentially at 59. I want to see the RSI on the monthly essentially get above 59. So that's something that we're going to be looking for. XRP's down 2, XLM's up 5. You can see them all here. DigiByte at one point was up 8%. It looks like it's only up 3% at the moment. DT, what's up, brother? Glad to see you on the live stream. Very, very good to see you. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Bitcoin Cash, because it really has done exactly at the moment what I've spoken to. There are two charts that I covered with Bitcoin Cash. Now, first off, I said that it was possible we could consolidate in this area and we might not get up to this zone, but I was inclined to say that if we haven't topped already, I'm sort of leaning towards also the idea that we could top in this zone. There's an area of resistance here essentially between 300 and 385. Okay, look where we wicked up to. We hit a high of 325. This is on Bitstamp. Coinbase, I don't know if it's the same. It's probably around the same. But you can see we got right up into this area of resistance. So I wouldn't, on first pass on a weekly candle basis, I wouldn't expect pushing past this area. Okay, I think consolidation in this area is most likely before we begin to push up on Bitcoin Cash. We're a little bit overextended, okay? And it's important to keep in mind that when you're evaluating charts in this instance and you're looking at the RSI that's in our topping zone, okay? I identified a topping zone here on the RSI between 70 and 83. And this is on a weekly. So because you're on a higher time frame, the idea that it's overbought holds more credence, significance, credibility than looking at something on a daily, for instance. Okay, but it's also important to keep in mind that charts can remain overbought and oversold for a period of time. Okay, it doesn't need to pull back, but this is a caution flag, and it's telling us, hey, there's a really good likelihood at this point that we could see some nice, healthy consolidation for Bitcoin Cash prior to a move up. The other thing I want to point you to is this chart, guys. This is another chart that's leading me to conclude that if we haven't topped, we're very close to it. This is the BCH BTC relativity. This is the Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin price relativity chart. We've been in this massive downtrend. We hit the bottom down here, and I said if we were going to top, we'd be up in this area. Look where we just hit, right? I don't see this relativity chart all of a sudden exploding to the upside. Could we later on in the year or early next year maybe break this downtrend? Absolutely. But for now, this is another warning signal to me that if I was trading this, which I'm not, I hold some Bitcoin Cash, but I'm not actively trading. It's just something I hold. I shared with you guys I bought a couple Bitcoin Cash when it was down in that 103, 104 area. I said, I'm not looking to sell this, so I'm just gonna, it's definitely oversold. I mean, based on what I'm looking at, it's at historic lows. I'm gonna buy this thing and hold on to it. I'm not looking to sell it, even at these levels, just because, like I shared with you guys, I hold a bunch of OG coins that I'm not looking to sell. So, but if you were trading this to me seems like a no-brainer that I would have been taking profits once we got. And real quick, before we talk about where we're at in price, this is just to level set the conversation, see what we're talking about here. I mean, this is just to give you some level of appreciation to zoom out and kind of not get lost in the weeds of the day-to-day. You can see here that we have a nice, in general, healthy uptrend, okay? Again, so if we go back to a weekly on Litecoin, we're at a very got my bags, PPC. We're at a very interesting point on Litecoin, and allow me to explain why. I want to focus on one key moving average, and that is the 200 simple moving average on the weekly. Okay. Now, there's an area of price confluence that I have identified right at 103, 104, and you can see that the 200 is at that psychological level of 100, right? Once Litecoin, once Litecoin can get a candle body close greater than $100, we're going to call it 104. Right in between 100 and 104. Once you see a weekly candle close, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, once you see a weekly close on Litecoin, right at 100 to 104, game on. Okay, now we've gotten into this zone, and we know people will be talking about the catalyst, the Litecoin halving is coming up, and all that stuff. But once we get up into the 100 and 104 zone, now we are in serious contention to move up all the way towards 140 to 168, which I view as um, rounded numbers. We like to keep things simple on this channel. These are the nice rounded figures of resistance that we should face after that 100 to 104. So what that's telling you is once we can secure a weekly close above 100 to 104, we have potential upside of 40 to 68% in this project. That's significant upside. Now, I shared with you guys last week, and it started to move. Okay, XLM is one of the juiciest charts that I've been looking at, not just from an OG coin perspective, but just in general. I've spoken about this massive cup and handle. This is on the monthly chart. Look at this monthly chart. We're starting to close above this 10 SMA, which in the past, when we've closed above here, look what has happened. Look at last time we closed above the 10 SMA. We rode it for several months and then moved up. Okay, we're getting a close here. Could we move it for a few? Hold it for a few months and then move up? We shall see. Okay. Also on the price indicators, you can see stochastic RSI is very healthy. We're sitting at 63 over 49. RSI is a little oversold here at 44, which is telling me we still have a lot of significant upside to go on the RSI. There's a lot of available space there to run on the relative strength index. But look at the MACD. Now this is the thing that really interests me. You can see, again, the MACD is about to kiss. Once again, these crypto charts are getting more action than myself. So the MACD is about to kiss right here. All right, we're about to get a positive close. Now, let's not jump the gun, though. We got to move all the way up to this zero trigger line before we really start getting bullish. But this is a beautiful chart setup to me. And if you haven't gotten it in XLM, or you are considering increasing your position in XLM, for me personally, I would use the 10 simple moving average, keeping it very stupid simple, as my buy zone. Okay, and that's sitting right at 9.8 cents. Anything around 9.8 cents is a great opportunity, in my opinion. Now, here's another interesting chart. XRP to XLM ratio, okay? Those relativities, okay? So as we're moving down here, what's happening is strength is increasing for XLM. As we're increasing on the chart, strength is gaining for XRP, okay? In this case, you can see there's significant resistance here. Significant. This is when the lawsuit happened here. Okay, this bullshit lawsuit. This is when this black swan event occurred. You can see there's significant resistance here. Okay, we just managed to get above it, but now we're starting to close below it. It's going to be interesting to see how the week closes out. My inclination when I look at this chart is that if we close below this line on the weekly, I think there's an increased likelihood that we could see a drop in the chart. Now, what that would signify is we see a greater rate of appreciation in XLM versus XRP. If this line holds and we simply back tested it, I would sense a greater likelihood that we would continue moving up, which would mean XRP would outperform XLM. So this is really an interesting chart. I think you guys should pay attention to if you're in XRP and XLM. And as you know, one of the things that I spoke to on my channel, if you guys have been with me for a while, I spoke to the fact that in 2021, I said, hey, one of the things that I did since the lawsuit, I diversified my XRP holdings into both XRP and XLM. Okay, so I have what I would call significantly less XRP today than I had back in 2019 and 20. But I've diversified those holdings into both XRP and XLM. So never financial advice, but that's kind of what I've done. This is the XLM BTC chart. A couple things to point out here. Sort of looks like we have a falling wedge. Nothing really on. It looks like nothing really on the price indication. If we do break out of this falling wedge pattern, I would suspect some resistance here, and then some resistance up here. You can see some price confluence here. But again, what does that actually mean? This is the XLM BTC ratio on the 2-week chart. What does this actually mean in layman's terms? What this means is, depending when and how price moved, there's potential upside here of anywhere between roughly 40% or upwards of 300% relative to Bitcoin, meaning Bitcoin could continue moving up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, but XLM on top of that would outperform it by another 40 or 300%. Okay, that's what I'm currently looking at in the chart. Frankie has a good question here. He has a question on XDC. Let's take a look at it. I haven't charted this one out in a while. I think XDC was one of those projects I had always considered taking a position in and never did. Again, one could look at my portfolio and argue perhaps I'm over diversified, if anything, so I'm not looking to get into any more projects. I certainly have enough diversification in my portfolio, and I don't think I need any more projects in there. So, yeah, so XDC broke this uptrend, as you can see here, but I don't really view that as a big deal. What I would focus on, a couple things on this chart, which are really bullish. First off, we still have this increasing level of RSI, which is really great to see. Since July, we've had this general uptrend in relative strength index, which is bullish for the chart. Certainly, it's been a year of it. Secondly, one of the other things that I like to see on this chart, we have no double bottoms going on, and we continue to see a lot of strength in this chart and the higher lows coming in here. A lot of these charts that I've spoken to, like your Cardanzos and your Solanos, they either double bottomed or created a new low relative to their 2022 low. In this case, when we had all that bullshit going on with Gary Gensler, you can see here the general trend is up and we've created higher lows. I really like to see that. That to me is telling me this chart is stronger in certain senses relative to other charts that created new lows or double bottoms, right? So I really like to see that. And I have all the areas of resistance and support drawn out here. There's nothing new to share with you in that respect. So what I would say regarding this chart is that I really like the idea that the 3 cent area is holding. That's great. I really want to see that 3 cent area maintain itself. That's expressing a high degree of strength. we could even come down to 2.7 cents and I'd be fine. We could even double bottom down here at, it looks like roughly 26 cents, right? But I really like for now that 3 cent area is holding. Next key area is going to be a 50% up move. Okay, when this thing starts moving, I think it's going to move quick. You can see here that would represent, with where we're at actually right now, that would represent roughly a 43% gain. There's really no significant resistance on this chart until we start pushing up towards 4.5 cents. Okay, so what I would say to you, Frankie, what I would do is I would suggest, and I'm sure you're asking the question because you're probably invested in this at the moment. That would be my guess on that one. So if you're kind of keeping an eye on it, putting myself in your shoes, never financial advice, putting myself in your shoes, um, if I was looking to increase my position and I was a holder of this, I would be buying anywhere currently, anywhere near 3 cents. So we're sitting at 3.1 cents. I wouldn't squabble over 3%, right? Anywhere at current price levels, I think are good. And where I would really start to get a little bit of excitement is when we start to convincingly, with a weekly close, that's the key, weekly close, clear 4.5 cents. I want you to come back to the channel with the question on how XTC is looking once we close a weekly candle above 4.5 cents. Not until then, because it doesn't make any sense, right? But once we start closing above 4.5 cents, come back. We can reevaluate it. We can talk about these other key areas of resistance and what I would be anticipating in the chart. Hope you found that helpful. Trying to think, there's really nothing else that I wanted to cover today. Let's take a quick look at the markets real quick. Yeah, Ethereum's up. It's right around still. I mean, I don't even need to open up a chart with you guys at this point on Ethereum. We're above 1,800. That's good. The month is going to close and how the day is going to close. It doesn't matter to me if Bitcoin closes the month at 30,100 or 30,200. I could care less because of what I shared with you earlier. As long as we get that monthly close, I really want to see the monthly close above that psychological level of 30,000. If that doesn't happen, okay. Then what I would do is I would look to this key area that I identified before at 29,000. Right? As long as we close above 29,000, I'm fine with it. But obviously, it's increasingly more bullish the higher we can close. Okay. If I had to take a stab at it, I think all this ETF news is just noise. And I think we're going to close pretty strong today. I think it's a non-event, not a big deal. What has really changed? Ask yourself a question in all seriousness. What has changed today versus yesterday just because the spot ETF wasn't approved? Okay, spot ETFs haven't been approved ever. Okay, and the market has moved significantly. People need a narrative to grab onto. It's because they're interesting talking points. People can't accept that prices move up for other reasons other than these news narratives. Don't forget, in generalities, how small this market is and how when you compare the entire, I mean, literally the entire market cap of the entire industry relative to some of these stocks that are out there, crypto is so small. It doesn't take a lot of money to really move it. So just keep that in mind. There was one other point I wanted to make, and I completely forgot. This is what happens when you get old. Yeah, I totally forget. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. The other thing that I wanted to say is the reason I'm saying that this price action, if we look at the 12-hour, last point, the reason that this is noise, okay, is because it gets lost in the rounding. I don't know if you guys know what the terminology by lost in the rounding means. It means, like if I came up with an estimate at work and the estimate was 353 million and I rounded it up to 355 or 360 to make it look pretty because it was really a subjective figure I came up with. Whether it's 355 or 360 based on the context of that figure, it gets fucking lost in the rounding. It's not a big deal what you're aiming for, right? So in this case, the reason I'm saying all this 12-hour nonsense gets lost in the rounding is because when you zoom out, I mean, again, you're just seeing general uptrends, right? All this shit gets lost in the rounding. We're going to be reaching new all-time highs, in my opinion, sooner than most think. And so now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, all this shit is just noise, right? It's just that people get caught up in the day to day. So hopefully that is not you. What's up, Adam? Manages to get on to that. I forget where you're located. I got a lot of people from all over the world, which is really cool. Hearing from people from Australia and South Africa and um, all over. It's really cool. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. I didn't really have anything else prepared that I wanted to talk about. What I really want to do is what I'm really excited for, and make sure. By the way, I do give a heads up and I do give notifications on Twitter if you're not following me. Hey, I'm going live, shortly, or hey, I can't make it today because I'm traveling or whatever the case is. Make sure that you do give me a follow on Twitter to stay current with that stuff. And like I said, I will be traveling several days here, so I won't be with you on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But I will be back on Thursday around the normally scheduled time, and I'm excited about that because I'll put some preparation into looking at key monthly closes and what I'm seeing in the charts. So stay strong. Don't allow the ETF news to sway you one way or another. Bitcoin went from 3,000 to 69,000 without any ETF news. So just try to keep perspective that this news is noise. All this stuff is designed to weed you out. Okay, it will become abundantly clear the longer you stay in the market and the more you remain convicted to your educational thesis. So I hope everyone has a nice holiday weekends and stay safe. Enjoy family and friends, and I will see you in a week.